Welcome to the first session of the Signed English workshop series. My name is Isabel Lay and I'm a Communicative Disorders Assistant. In today's session, we will go over what total communication is, introduce you to Signed English and keyword signing, and finally learn some signs. If you have attended our Total Communication workshop, this first part will be a bit of a review, but just so that we're all on the same page, let's start out by talking a little bit about communication in general. We communicate in many different ways throughout the day. Many of you have probably heard that a large part of communication is nonverbal. For example, if you're at a party with your family and you're ready to leave, you might give the person you arrived with the "it's time to leave" look, or you might tap your wrists, or just flat out say "it's time to go," or something else that's particular to you and your family. Our children and students do the same. They communicate with us in many different ways. As you can see, there are many different ways of communicating, so let's try this activity. Try and guess what message I'm trying to send to you without using any verbal words. When interpreting nonverbal communication, you can use the context of the environment to guess what the person might be saying. Let's pretend it's the end of the day, and if you guessed I was trying to say that I'm tired or sleepy, then you were right. We use lots of different ways to communicate, and so do our children and students. Let's look at some specific strategies we use in and outside of the classroom. Sometimes we use the actual object or miniature objects to communicate. For example, we might offer a choice of activity by holding up the actual toys, such as showing the pop-up toy and the ball. On the right here, we have some miniature objects taped to a board that represent the actual items. We sometimes use photos or picture communication symbols. Here we have symbols for snack items and drink, or actions like hug, or we might use the symbols to ask for more of something or to tell someone that we're all done. As we demonstrated earlier, we can use our gestures like shrugging your shoulders or pointing to communicate. We can also use our body language and facial expressions like slouching and frowning to show that you don't like something. We use sign language, which we'll learn in this workshop series. We use verbal communication by using our voice to send a message. We sometimes use written language. Signs can tell us where to go, or you might text someone or send emails to communicate. Sometimes we have technology-aided devices, so you might have a speech generating button where you can record one or a few messages, or you might have a dedicated tablet with an app that can store a larger amount of vocabulary. What is total communication? Total communication is using all of these different strategies like signing, photos, pictures, and text together with speech to facilitate communication development. When using the total communication approach, we want to accept any one of the communication strategies as an acceptable way to talk. We want to acknowledge the message that your child or student sent and respond to it. We also want to use what works best for the individual, not what we want to work. So while this is a sign class and you might want your child to respond to you with sign, keep in mind that this might not be the strategy that works best for them. Why is sign a part of the total communication approach? The motor skills develop before speech skills, so signing capitalizes on good motor abilities and provides another way of communicating. This additional way of communicating can help decrease frustrations for children who are experiencing difficulty with speaking. Signing can also help with understanding, or your receptive language, by providing visual and auditory inputs so you can see the signs and hear the verbal communication. It also slows down your message because you have to sign along as you speak. It also decreases the complexity of the verbal message by providing visual cues so you can see the signs along with what's being spoken. Why are we learning Signed English instead of American Sign Language, or ASL? ASL was developed for the deaf community and uses a different sentence structure and word order than English. If we're using sign as a stepping stone for speech, then we need to teach correct English word order. Signed English follows the same rules as spoken English. A lot of people sometimes get caught up with not knowing the exact sign for a specific word. So let's try this activity. What do you think the sign for corn is? If you don't know what it is, try and make one up. So the sign for corn is you have your hands face each other in front of your mouth as if holding an ear of corn and rotate slightly. Corn. When using sign in the total communication approach, it's okay to not have the exact sign. If your child or student is showing interest in something and you don't know the exact sign for it, make up something up. You can make up a sign or gesture and just keep it consistent. If someone is going to use sign language as their primary mode of communication, then we would recommend looking up the official sign. But when using total communication approach, you can make things up. When signing in the total communication approach, it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't miss out on an opportunity to communicate because you don't know the sign. Just keep the action or gesture consistent and tell everyone who works with that child or student what that action or sign might mean. And try not to stress about doing a sign perfectly. You'll find variations in signs when looking at different resources. If you look on YouTube, you might find the sign in Signed English, or they might be doing ASL. If you've learned a sign that is different from how we're doing it in this series, just keep on doing it the way you've learned. Signed English is also known as manual coded English. In pure Signed English, you would sign every single word in the sentence and all the word endings and articles. For example, the sentence, "My dog is black," you would sign, "My dog is black." This is not always appropriate when teaching Signed English to young children. Instead, we'll be doing keyword signing. Keyword signing is when spoken English is used at the same time as manual signs for critical or important words in a sentence. The critical words include the names of things or nouns, action words or verbs, location words or prepositions, and describing words like adjectives and adverbs. For example, you might sign, "Go get the bowl and put it on the table." Or you might sign just, "Open the jar." When keyword signing, you want to say the whole sentence, but sign or show one step or level above the person's language ability. For example, if your child or student is not yet using any signs or words, you would sign one word. So for the sentence, "Wait for me," you would just sign, "Wait for me." If your child or student is using single words or signs, then you would sign two words. So you would say, "Wait for me." Remember, you want to say the entire phrase and sign to emphasize the keywords. Now let's learn some signs. First, we will go over how to read the word descriptions paired with the signs we're showing in this series. To do that, we will learn the alphabet and some numbers. Then we will go through the key to word descriptions and arrows. Finally, we'll learn some signs about courtesy, people, and things at home. We just want to point out that we're only learning the alphabet so that you're able to read the word descriptions of the signs. When signing, use your dominant hand to sign. I'm right-handed, so I'll be using my right hand to sign. Now let's practice the alphabet.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H,
Now let's go through some numbers, starting with 0. You make an O with your hand. 0. Then 1, extend your index finger. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're going to touch your little finger to your thumb. 6, 7, your ring finger to your thumb. 8, your middle finger to your thumb. 9, your index finger to your thumb. Then 10, you wiggle your thumb. So again, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. In the sign word descriptions, RH is for your right hand and LH is for your left hand. You have your thumb, your index finger, your middle finger, your fourth finger, and your little finger. In the diagrams of the signs, the dotted line is where your hand starts, the arrow shows the movement of the hand, and the solid line is where the hand ends up. So for example here, I have one hand up, the dotted line has the hand up, the arrow points down, and it ends down here. In the sign descriptions, they might describe the shape of your hand. So if it says make a shape A, then you would make the letter A with your hand. Or if it says shape 1, then you make a 1 with your hand. This is the letter B. If it says an open B, then you open up your thumb like this. If it's a bent V, then you bend your hand like so. A bent V is you make the V shape, then you bend it down. Bent V. You might see the description for a claw shape, so you make a claw with your hand. Or you might see a flat O, so an O is like this. A flat O, you would flatten your fingers out like this. Flat O. The arrows show the movement, so the first arrow where there's just only one, for example high, you just move out once. High. If there's 2 arrows, then you would move twice. So for mama, it's twice. If there is an arrowhead on both sides, then it's a repeated movement. So for baby, you would keep rocking back and forth. And the zigzag, say for pizza, you make a P and you go zigzag, pizza. The arrows are also drawn in the perspective of the signer in the drawings. So the first one would be a right arc, the second one is a left arc, and it also shows you either clockwise or counterclockwise. And then if you see the little motion markers, that means you wiggle. So this is for toilet. Now let's start learning some signs, starting with courtesy vocabulary. For hi, you have your hand up and you wave out once. Hi. Hi. For bye-bye, you have your right hand, open B, palm down, and you wave up and down. Bye, as if you're telling the person to go away. Bye. So you have hi and bye. For please, we have an open palm and you make a circle in the clockwise direction. Please. Sorry is similar. You make an S and you make a circle. Sorry. Please, open palm, please. Sorry, make an S, sorry. Yes, you make an S shape, so the fist, and you shake up and down. Yes, or you can just nod your head, yes. For no, you're gonna snap your middle and index finger on your thumb. No, or shake your head, no. Yes, or yes. No, you snap your fingers together, or shake no. Thank you. You have an open palm to your lips and move down as if you're throwing a kiss. Thank you. You're welcome. You make a W with your hand And similar to thank you, at your lips and then down. Thank you, open palm. Thank you. You're welcome. Make a W. You're welcome. Let's review. Hi, you wave out. Hi. Bye, as if you're telling the person to go away. Bye. Please, open palm and circle. Sorry, you make an S or a fist and circle. Sorry. Yes, or nod yes. No, snap your fingers together, or no. Thank you, open palm to your lips and out. You're welcome, make a W to your lips and out. Hi. Bye. Please. Sorry. Yes or yes. No or no. Thank you. You're welcome. Now let's learn some people words. Friend. You make an X with both your fingers, so you bend your index finger and you hook. Once, then switch. Friend, as if you're holding hands. Friend. Baby, it's as if you're rocking a baby. Baby. For girl, you take your thumb and run it along your cheek. Girl. Boy, you snap a flat O at your forehead, as if the boy is wearing a cap. Boy. So we have friend, you hook your fingers. Baby, you're rocking a baby. Girl, you run your thumb along your cheek. And boy, as if you're snapping the top of a cap. Boy. Mommy or mama, you take your thumb and you tap your chin twice. Mama. For daddy, you take the same shape and you tap your forehead twice. Daddy. Brother, you make the sign for boy, and then this is the sign for same. So it's the boy in the same family. Sister, you make the sign for girl in the same family. So mama, tap your chin twice with your thumb. Daddy, tap your forehead twice with your thumb. Brother, it's a boy in the same family. And sister, a girl in the same family. For nurse, you make an N with your hand and then you tap your wrist as if you're taking your pulse. N, tap your wrist. For doctor, it's similar, but you make an M with your hand and tap your wrist. For dentist, you make the shape of a D and then tap your teeth. Dentist. Let's review. Friend, you make the letter X with both hands and you hook them once, then switch. Friend. Baby, as if you're rocking a baby. Boy, as if you're snapping the top of a cap. Boy. Girl, run your thumb down your cheek. Mommy, tap your chin twice. Daddy, tap your forehead twice. Brother. Sister. Nurse, make an N, tap your wrist. Doctor, make an M, tap your wrist. Dentist, the letter D, tap your teeth. Now we have things at home. Floor. Palms down and pull apart, as if you're outlining the shape of the floor. Floor. Home, you have a flat O at your mouth and move it to your cheek. Or you can also do flat O at your mouth and open your hand up to a palm. So home is where you eat and where you sleep. Table, you outline the shape of a table. So you start up here, out, then down. Out, then down. Chair, you have C for chair, then you hang an N over the C. So it's like this is your chair and you have two legs that are sitting. Chair. So let's review. Floor, home or home, table, and chair. Door, you have your hands open like this and you open one out like a door. Door. Toilet, you make the letter T, so you tuck your thumb under your index finger and you wiggle. Toilet. Bed, you place your open palm on your head like you're sleeping. Bed. Light, you're going to start up here and then move downwards and open like the light is shining. Start up with your fingers together and move down and open your fingers. Light. So we have door, so your hands are together and you open one up like a door. Door. Toilet, make the letter T and then wiggle. Toilet. Bed, place your cheek on your open palm. Bed. Light, you start up with your fingers together and move down and open like the light is shining. Light. Towel. Open B shape, so that's open palms, and you make circles on your face, like you're wiping your face with a towel. Towel. Bath, A shape, so that's like this with your thumbs up, A, and you scrub up and down. Bath. Toothbrush, you're going to pretend to brush your teeth with your index finger. Toothbrush. Wash, you have your open palm and you make an S so your thumb is closed and you scrub in a circle. Wash. So we have towel, open hands, scrub on your face. Towel. Bath, A shape, so thumbs are up, scrub up and down. Bath. Toothbrush, you brush your teeth with your finger. Toothbrush. And wash, open palm, you make an S so your thumb is crossed over, and scrub. Wash. Let's review. Floor, outline the shape of the floor, so hands together and move apart. Floor. Home, flat O at your mouth, then to your cheek, or flat O at your mouth, then open palms. Home is where you eat and where you sleep. Table, outline the shape of a table, so you start up here, out, then down. Table. Chair, you make a C, and then you hang your legs that are sitting. Chair. Door, hands together and open one like a door. Door. Toilet, you make a T and then shake. Toilet. Bed, open palm to your cheek. Bed. Light, start with your fingers together and up, move down and open your hand, so like the light is shining. Light. Towel, open palm and scrub your face. Towel. Bath, A shape, so a fist but your thumbs are up, and scrub up and down. Bath. Toothbrush, brush your teeth with your finger. Toothbrush. Wash, open palm, S shape, so your thumb is crossed over, and scrub. Wash. Please note that the order of the words that we're teaching you the signs in isn't necessarily the order that you want to introduce it to your child or student. It's more motivating to start with something that's more exciting and fun. For example, teaching them to sign more or cookie. It's more fun to learn those signs than something like please or thank you. Let's brainstorm. What words do you think would be more motivating for your child to learn and start with? Remember, these are all strategies that we're trying to use to help others understand our message. So what can we do? We can shorten our message and say less, stress the important words by keyword signing them, go slow, and show as much as possible, either by pointing, gestures, or signs. This concludes the first session of the Assigned English Workshop series. Thank you for joining us. You